Yeah.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to SteveBussaGS. We got another scorecard interview for you guys. Please introduce yourself for everybody.
What up, everybody? It's your girl, Miss Nthabi, all the way from SA.
This is going to be a lot of fun. Are you excited for today?
I'm excited. I'm glad we're doing this.
This is something that I've been looking forward to for a few weeks right now. I really appreciate shout out to Mahuda for dropping the ball on the interview with the No Hidden Agenda podcast.
No, I know he ended up getting sick, and I was like, okay, I'm not trying to be around you right now.
But it gave birth to a great opportunity for us to sit down. I've done a lot of research. I've reached out to a lot of my contacts over in SA to kind of like educate myself, which is really what I want this conversation to be. Is I want to get educated on you, your role over there, and I've got it mapped out in a way that I think will be really dope for a lot of your fans.
Nice.
Now, before we started recording, just so you guys know, I did ask her if anything was off limits to talk about, if there's anything that she didn't want to say. And she told me that I could say whatever I wanted. I can ask whatever I wanted.
Say whatever you want.
And I want you to know right now, all of my people that I mess with in South Africa right now are going, no.
Really?
Attack right now.
No, it's cool. Safe space. It is what it is. What's the point of doing an interview if you're going to hold back, right?
Let's go. And there's something very unique about this interview. This is the first time I'm ever interviewing somebody that I've actually had beef with that I didn't know about. So when I was talking to PQ, she actually told me not to do the interview and that I should just block you and move on.
Why?
She didn't say it like that. What she said was she's a Scorpio. And in my mind, that translated to just like a whole bunch of trauma and triggers started going off, red flags everywhere. I was like, oh.
You don't fuss with Scorpios?
No. I have a love-hate relationship. Scorpios are the absolute greatest thing in my life physically and the worst thing for my life mentally.
Really? What's your star sign?
I'm a Taurus.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. I get it. I get it.
Not only am I a Taurus, but I'm like the poster child for Taurus. Like,
damn. So yeah, it is an extreme. I get it.
But
there's no middle ground.
I was like, yo, we're gonna bridge the gap. We're gonna try and make some progress here. This is gonna be a little therapy session, open some doors.
No trauma here, please. No trauma. Good vibes.
So yeah, I'm excited about this. What I want to do is I listened to the entire Energy album, and I know that you did the interview with PQ where you guys went over a lot of stuff with Energy. So I don't want to necessarily focus on that. What I've did is I've dug back into the crates a little bit to listen to some of your older stuff and see kind of like the progression, the back and forth. And I want to go and highlight the history and from there until now and fill in the gaps for a lot of people who, like me, who listen to your newer stuff is like, wow, this person is super dope. Didn't know that she had been around as an OG for a while. You know what I mean? And like, I want to fill in those gaps. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's absolutely cool. Let's do that.
Cool. So give me like the background bio as far as like, when did you emerge on the scene?
Damn. So, I mean, I pretty much started rapping around high school days. And it was one of those things that it's just a hobby. Let's just see if we can do this.
Right.
And then I bumped into this guy who introduced me to a guy called Helio. Helio was a producer from Outrageous Records. A lot of people would know Outrageous Records. It was one of the biggest independent labels we had in SA. So I met Helio and he just threw me into the studio. I'd never recorded a song before. I didn't know how to freaking write a song, create a song. And that very first song ended up on Hype Sessions and it was called Reality Check. When I listen to it now, I cringe. It sounds so bad. Like it sounds so bad. And then from there, I just started recording. And then I was with Outrageous Records. I did my first EP, was called Streets to the Lab. And when I did Streets to the Lab, I was just trying to prove that I can rap. You know, when you come out in the scene, you're like, don't call me a female rapper. I'm just an MC. Like, I was just trying to prove a point. And then, we'd do a couple of cyphers, a bit of performances here and there. And then from there, I decided I'm going to do my album, Welcome to Me. I started recording my album with a producer called Oots, as well as PH Raw X.
Shout out to PH. PH is, I know him. PH is fire.
Yeah. So we started working on the album together. And when we were halfway done, everything crashed. We lost everything. We literally lost the whole album and had to start from scratch.
Never mind. And no more shout outs.
I know. And I was like, damn, guys. So we had to start over. And by the time we were starting over, then I found out, shit, I'm gonna be a mom. So now we're recording an album. I'm gonna be a mom. My headspace was completely different. And we started recording with Instro through Outrageous Records. Before the album even got done, the label shut down. Outrageous shut down. We're like, we're still gonna run with this. We're gonna drop it independently. It doesn't matter. And so the stuff we started with PH and Oots, it was really hard. It was like really, really grimy. And then we moved into the album mode where I decided I actually want to play with more of a live sound. I want to be at festivals. I want to perform. Gotcha. I don't want to do the streets to the lab thing. I don't want to have to prove I can rap. I want to prove that I can also make music. I want to prove that I'm an artist.
What's the time frame from the time that you put out?
So
and you were like...
Streets to the Lab came out, I think it was like 2017, if I'm not, no, it cannot be. Yeah, no, it's even earlier than that. It's like 2006, 2007, somewhere there.
Okay.
And then, yeah, 2006, 2007. And then Welcome to Me dropped in 2010, just after I'd given birth.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. So it was quite a flip because I was already going through all this nonsense of I've just lost an album. Now I have to deal with this shit of figuring out how to be a parent. And now I need to get out this new baby, which is this album. So yeah, that was crazy, but it was a very different sound for me because I worked with Instro. I worked with
Is that Mr. Instro?
Mr. Instro.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, Mr. Instro.
Cool.
And and Battle Cat as well. Battle Cat, so it was a lot of producers still from Rage, but they pushed me into the more, we want to hear your artist side. You've given us the rapper, let's hear if you can give us an artist. So that for me was a bit trippy, and just playing with live sounds, playing with live instruments. I mean, most of the Welcome to Me performances would had a live band. And then and then from there, I just decided to stop. I don't know why, but I didn't feel like I was giving the best of me. And I have this thing where I make music when I feel like there's a need to. I don't just make music for the heck of it if I'm going to put it out. I mean, I'll always be at home, I'll always be recording, I'm always in studio. But when it comes to putting out music, it takes a lot from me, which is why I take so long to actually do it, because once I've put it out, that's it. I'm not in that space anymore. So it is kind of a selfish approach, but it's more real because I can't detach the music from self. It's an extension of who I am.
This is very, very reminiscent of the interview that I did with P. Dot, where he was explaining like how much of a toll, like you don't realize how much of a toll that it takes on an artist, especially like, and maybe not like my era, I'm a battle rapper, right? So like, no, when I go and I put together 16 to tear somebody down, I'm not being personally affected by that.
Exactly.
There's a difference between that and an artist who puts their soul, their heart and sleeve, everything like that on the line and shit like that. So,
and I mean, for me, that was the transition. Remember when I came in, it was all about the ciphers and being hard. And so to transition from that into now, okay, we hear you can rap, we hear you can be in ciphers, but can you actually make a body of work? So that is not always easy. And once I was done with Welcome to Me, I also just decided I actually want to be present in just being a parent, you know what I mean? Because the music takes so much from you, and it's not like you have to step away from it, but I needed to do that. Gotcha. And then came Broken Silence, which dropped.
Before we get into that, before you move on from that, how much, because I'm a father as well, so there's some relatability here. How much of an influence was having a child with the content that you were producing? Like, was it in your head like, hey, I don't want my son, you have a son, you said?
Yeah, it's a son.
Was it like, I don't want my son to listen or hear me in this vein, that I want to make music that my kids can listen to? Was that a thought at all, or was that completely
Not
separate?
really. I think
Okay.
the influence came in, it wasn't so much about the content, but the confidence. I didn't give a damn anymore what anybody thought. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna give the best of myself with everything I do, because I want him to know that if you're gonna show up, show up.
Right.
Don't show up half-heartedly. So it
Let's
wasn't so
go.
much about the content. It's not like now I censored myself, I stopped cussing. Nah, it was just be yourself, but do this and not worry about what anybody else thinks. And I think because especially when you're a woman, it takes a while before you can relax and not have to have your guard up and have to prove a point. For the longest time in my musical journey, I always felt like I had to prove a point. And I just got to a point where I was like, fuck it. It's either you like it or you don't. And if you don't like it, listen to something else. It's really that
Let's
simple.
go. I mess with that.
You know?
What did the landscape look like? Because for me, a lot of times, because I wasn't present, I didn't even know about South African hip hop scene. You know, obviously, like
Yeah.
back then, like I'm very very new. I just happen to
Yeah.
be an enthusiast about it. Paint the picture for me. So like as an MC who's got this chip on her shoulder, you know what I'm saying, coming into it. What who were like your rivals or peers or stars or something like
I
that
mean,
coming
I
in?
was, and I think I was blessed because with Outrageous Records, I mean, I come from a school of Zubs. You know, Outrageous Records had Zubs, it had Pebbles, it had H2O, you know, it had Optical Illusion. So I came from a school of purists, and they just wanted you to show up. It was that time where it's like, yeah, this is real hip hop. You're like, okay, you know, we had in terms of the females, you had Miss Super coming up, you had a girl called Nell, and I looked up to your Gadessas, you know, so Gadessa they're from Cape Town, and I just loved them and I loved what they stood for. And it was like, you can still be a woman and do this and still be dope. So at that time,
Let's go.
I felt like it was the peak of South African hip hop, and just in terms of the roots, that's the foundation. That was the foundation that was laid for us. I mean, just copying a hype magazine,
Gotcha.
you weren't just copying it for the magazine, you were copying it because you knew the mixtape is gonna be dope. And being on that mixtape, you're like, shit, my song is on. You know, so it was such a beautiful era for me. And it's something that I hold dear because I didn't realize then the impact that I would play later on for other girls who are like, shit, okay, I want to rap because she can do it. And when you're in it, you are just thinking about yourself and how hard you want to be without realizing that someone is looking at you and somebody is
Thanks.
gonna use this as a part of history. So that was an era I think will forever be written in South African history for a long as time. You can't think of women in hip hop now and not speak about that era. It's just not right.
And I don't want to pivot to the present too quickly or too much, but while we're on
Yeah.
that specific topic, do you feel like it's easier and better now? Because some of my favorite artists are female MCs from South Africa. Like I listen to Yugen Black Rock pretty much religiously. You know what I'm saying? Like
She's
Gigi.
amazing. I
Oh
love
my
her.
God. I have a whole thing later about your song Trippy that I
Oh,
want to get
she's
into about all
amazing.
that. But
And just also how she's just stayed in her own. I love how she's just stayed in her own lane and did her thing. I love that approach. I love it.
it's super dope. Gigi is fire. Gigi reminds me of my rap style. You know what I'm saying? She's got like the harder kind of like punchline
Shout
bars
out
and
to
shit like that.
Gigi, man. On one of her albums, she actually did a whole song dedicated to me. And I was like, damn, that's really
I'm gonna have to
beautiful.
react to that. That's gonna be
Yeah,
dope.
it was so dope. And I think when you look at her, I mean, I see Gigi as a little sister, and when you look at that, you're like, that's what it's about. You know what I mean? Opening the
That's
door
fucking
and
awesome.
opening a way for everybody else to come through. And I think in that era, it was so easy for women to be pinned against each other. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Absolutely.
You had to be the one. Why couldn't they be many ones? Whereas today, I think it's a bit different where everybody can do whatever the hell they want to do. There's enough room for all of us.
And if you look at like some of the young talent out there too, if you look at the Indigo Stellas, the Hannahs,
Exactly.
there's a 19 year
Sampa
old
is, oh,
there's a 19-year-old girl in Cape Town named Nicolitha that I just did a scorecard reaction to that got a perfect 100 out of 100. It was absolutely
I
incredible.
need to check her out. Nicolita.
Yeah, I have the scorecard reaction is up. I'll send you a link to her stuff. I
Damn.
listened to it. I'm just like, this is incredible. You can tell. And you have a song called Love that you ended the Energy album with.
Yeah.
The song I reacted to, it's called Love Letter to Cape Town, where
Oh,
there's a
wow.
ton of similarities between the content and the emotion that goes into your song Love and that I was like, wow, this is so ironic that we're having this I'm blessed to have this conversation. I'm just doing these reactions too. It's
Damn.
all kind of aligning up. But like that, so you would think that because of the groundwork that was made, do you think that nowadays that it's that much easier? Because it's not perfect. We're not going to pretend that it's perfect for people.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but I think it is a bit easier in that it's opened up more. People are more open to hear more artists. And the only worry about the women of today, or rather, let me just say artists of today, I feel like the way we put out music, the rate at which we put out music is a bit too much. It's just consume, 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 consume.
Right.
You can never really just take it in and digest it. You constantly have to be coming with the heat,
Facts.
which for me gets a bit overwhelming because that's not how I listen to music. So the rate at which you're expected to keep putting out music in order for you to keep performing and have brands fuck
Stay
with you when
relevant.
you have shows. Exactly, exactly. So it's a bit easier now, but it's also more corporately structured now in a way. You basically become a brand now. Everybody
Right.
is a brand.
Right. I'm not necessarily against it. So this is ironic that you say that, because I think you and I, at least traditionally, had the same consumership then, because I probably listened to
Yeah.
the same 10 artists for a decade. Like I had the stuff that I liked, you know what I mean? And I stayed in that
Exactly.
bubble. I liked the stuff, like I wasn't ready to just move on and grab the next thing.
Yeah,
But things have changed now. Like this is a dope
definitely.
conversation to have. But like, it's a lot of people aren't coming out of pocket. You pay for one subscription to Spotify, and then you have access to everyone. You're not going to
Everybody.
grab a record. You know what I'm saying? You have to go put out
Exactly.
$15 per album to where like, yo, I'm getting my value out of this. We're gonna spin this into the
Exactly.
ground.
Exactly.
I do think that it gives more opportunity for more artists to get
Definitely.
that visibility now, though. So I think that's a
Definitely.
huge upside to it. Whereas
It
like,
is, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm sorry to cut you there. There's
no,
absolutely
go ahead.
nothing wrong with it. I think the biggest thing is just that it's easy to miss a good artist because of the rate when things are so fast. And you find like a lot of people who are coming up, they're probably been pushing this for such a long time, but you're only going to hear about them 2 or 3 years later once they start popping like that. And you'll feel like the groundwork that this person's been doing has
Facts.
been long coming. But because no one has really noticed them, because once we have an artist popping, it's almost like tunnel vision on that artist. That's
Right.
the focus now.
This
And
is
then
the
it kind of
moment.
puts everybody else in the shadows. So it is a bigger industry and we've opened the doors for more people, but at the same time I still feel like we lose good albums quicker. You listen to it and then you get over it and it's on to the next one. You
That's
can't.
facts.
I just don't think
That's
you can
facts.
consume an album in a month and then that's it, I'm done with it. I just,
Right.
even people listen to an album in one day and then they have a review in one day. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but have you actually taken it in? Have you actually listened?
This
So I guess
is
that review is based on your first interpretation of it.
and that is the world that I live in as a reactor. Like a lot of people
Yeah,
try and take like what I say as gold, you know what I mean? And I'm like, that's not the case. Like
yeah,
a reaction is just that. This is just the
exactly,
knee-jerk first instinct on a first hear. Like there's music that I
exactly.
hated the first time that I heard. And as I sat and lived with it, and you know what I mean, as you listen to it, it grows on
It
you.
grew on you.
Or like your life experience changes. There are songs that
Mhm,
that may not have been relatable at the time of hearing. You know what I'm saying? So like,
mhm.
what you're saying resonates with me like you will not believe.
Yeah.
Like it's a constant battle that I have on this side with people.
And
Um,
it's absolutely fine. I mean, I think with your, digital streaming platforms, you actually opened up to a lot of people. You just need to go and hunt now. Whereas before it was kind of in your face. Like I said, we had the hypes, we had all these platforms that just
right.
put it in your face. But now you kind of have to hunt for the kind of artists that you want to listen to because you're only going to be fed what's
Facts.
popping. The shit that you
Absolutely.
actually
Absolutely.
like, you have to search for it.
I agree. And do you think that's good or do you think that's bad? Because there are there's this separation between people who are like hip hop purists, right? Who are like, nah, you
Mhm.
got to go and dig into crates. Like that's how you go and you find the gems.
Yeah,
And then you have the casual hip hop fans who's like, I just like what's on the radio. I don't want to put in the extra work. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Spoon feed it to me. You know what I mean?
And it's absolutely fine. To each their own, hey? To each their own. I
Facts.
mean, this is the one thing I always have a conversation with some of the purists. I was having a conversation with I think you know Wicked. So he's from Township Frequency with Amu and them. And I was like, one thing I have a problem with OGs is they want everybody to still sound like they're in 1999. Like it's not gonna happen. You have to evolve with the times, you know, because when
Facts.
you were making music in your time, the people who came before you were like, what's this new shit? So you
Right.
have to keep progressing with the times. If you don't fucks with it, just don't listen to it, but don't expect the kids now to sound the way you want them to sound. You can't expect somebody to give you the same version of their first album. They're not in that space anymore.
Facts. And it's not just hip hop. I think that that's just a musical generation
Yeah,
thing. You know what I mean? Like our parents' generation are always going to be like, turn that racket off. You know what I mean?
exactly,
Until we
exactly,
become them.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
All right, so back to Rio. So we're up to like 2018 now. All right, where we
Yeah,
just had Broken Silence. You said
we had Broken Silence. Yeah, and that was a mixtape that we dropped, and I wasn't even supposed to make a mixtape. I just went into studio and I was like, let's see where I'm at. But I was in a very vulnerable mental space and just vulnerable era, and I wanted to just share that with everybody. I was like, we don't really have any music now that people are putting out where they're vulnerable and they feel safe to be vulnerable. And I wanted to share that with Broken Silence. I didn't want to hold back with the emotion. I mean, literally some songs I recorded and I was bawling in the studio, like literally crying my eyes out. And then the producer was like, are you sure you want to put this out? I'm like, it's as real as it's gonna get. Every time I put out music, I want to leave a piece of wherever I'm at that time and whatever I'm feeling at that time. I want to leave it there and never have to deal with it ever again. So we did Broken
okay.
Silence, and we were very intentional about not making our own beats for it. So I decided to take beats from songs that are already existing. And I didn't just want rapidy rap songs. I mean, we took a sample of her, we took some stuff from Raz, we took some stuff
The
from
flip
Boogie with the
John.
Hoodie. I just wanted to play with different sounds and be like, if I had to recreate the song and make it my own, what would it sound like? You know, we took the Eagles Hotel California. So yeah, we really just played with sounds, and it sounded very mixtapey, but it was raw with emotion. I didn't realize it was gonna be that raw.
So I'm gonna kind of pull your card on this a little bit because I don't want
Yeah,
to come off of this because you came into the game early, right?
yeah.
Chip on the shoulder. Anybody can get it, right?
Mhm.
Like it is what it is.
Yeah,
You matured, put together
yeah,
an album, and it's like, yo, I want to get in my artist bag, right?
yes,
That 2018 album, I listened to it.
yeah,
I reacted to Flip. There,
yeah.
there was a chip on the shoulder still when
You
I was
think
listening to
so?
that. You
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 think
were
so?
you had the guns out. You had the guns out on that, John. And
Really?
about halfway through, I don't know if you watched the reaction, but about halfway through, I'm listening to it, and I'm like, yo, this is my shit. She's like, yo, so what made you get back into the anybody can get it back? You can't convince me that those were generic bars. You had very specific people in mind with a couple of those bars. I need to know what's going on. I need to.
You know what? I don't think it was so much a chip on the shoulder more than it was me being angry at what was happening in the industry and angry at just the artistry in general. You know, I felt like we kind of forget about the people who paved the way. And I also used to feel like everybody wants to be hard, but in them being hard, they don't give a damn about people who laid the foundation or people who actually did this to open doors for other people. You know, it wasn't so much about a chip on my shoulder, but I was also getting a lot of, does she still rap? What is she doing? And then I was like, oh, you know what? Shut the fuck up. Actually, you know, just shut up. Just because I'm not putting it out there doesn't mean now you've just taken away this gift from me. It's like swimming and riding a bike. Once you know how to do it, you know how to do it. And I've always said that music is something that's in my blood. I'm going to be rapping probably even in my damn 80s. You know what I mean? It's something that is in me. You can't take that away. And so I don't think it was a chip on the shoulder, but I was a little bit ticked off that how dare you think I can't do this kind of thing.
Is there anyone specific that was in reference to? Like, was there like a news
real
article
talk,
where it was like, yo, fuck that news article that said X, Y, and Z?
Real talk, not even hate. Like I literally have no beef with anybody. I'm the kind of artist who, if I don't fuck with your shit, I just don't listen. It's that simple. It wasn't directed, but I can see how it can come off as though it was directed towards somebody.
Make sure you guys go.
Did you listen to the whole mixtape, or just you picked that up from Flip?
I picked that specific thing I picked up from Flip. That wasn't a reflection of the entire mixtape. That was when I was listening to the reaction. We had already agreed to do the interview. So as I'm listening for key points that could be, entertaining. That could make for entertaining value. That was pretty much just off of that. But
funny enough, Flip is the only song that is on that tip. Every other song is more emotional, and Flip is the only one that I just flipped, literally.
Well, that's the one you recommended to me. So that's why I was like, okay, she's making a point here. I see you. All right, so you drop Broken Silence. What happens then?
Oh man, Broken Silence. It actually got such a dope reaction and a dope reception. I never expected that. I really didn't expect that album to speak to so many people, and more especially women. A lot of women fuck with that mixtape, and I think because of the content they could relate. There's a song that I did there where I had a guy call me and he was like, yo, I wanted to go home and hug my child and be a present father, and it's stuff
power.
Like that. I know, right? For me, that's the power of music, when people can relate to you on an emotional level, because it's one thing when listeners look at artists and they aspire to be like them in terms of the lifestyle. But when people listen to you and think, shit, if you could survive something like that, then I could make it out. And for me, that's what matters the most. It's not about, what comes from it, the flash and the fame. It's about, who am I impacting? What legacy am I leaving behind? What am I going to be remembered for once I'm gone? People aren't going to remember the car I was driving. People aren't going to remember whatever I was wearing. They're going to remember how you made them feel. You know what I mean?
That's a bar. That's a bar. I'm here for that energy 100%.
Yeah, it's so important. We take for granted our impact in people's lives through music. That's why I always say music it's such a spiritual thing for me. It goes beyond just the hard bars and the beats. You're being given a gift, and you need to learn how to use that gift you've been given wisely. Same way you've been given a gift, as much as you may think you're just reacting to shit, but your reactions are actually changing some people's lives. You know what I mean?
I humbly accept the compliment, but I'm not there yet. I do hope to get to that point at some point.
No, but for real, I mean, think of it this way. Why I say that is there's somebody right now who would probably watch your shit and they're dying to have you react about their shit. You know what I mean? They're like, one day he's going to react on my ish, and I can't wait to get there. That in itself is aspiration for that person. So without even realizing, you have a gift and you're putting it to use.
You're amazing. Thank you. I'm not gonna get emotional. You're crying. No, I'm not crying. You're crying.
Please don't do that. Don't pull a pristine queen on me. She was getting on emotion.
That's you can say the sweetest thing to her and she's just gonna start crying. That's just how
she's a sweetheart. She's amazing.
Which is ironic too, that you said about how you have a large female fan base, that was like relating to the music.
Yeah.
Because PQ, I talked to her. I don't know if you and I had this conversation already. I feel like we did. But I had said to her, like when I was like reaching out and I was trying to get like insight for the interview, I was like, I'm actually really surprised that she likes your music, because her and I did album reviews together for the podcast and everything like that. And she doesn't like the emo stuff. She doesn't like the emotional stuff. She makes fun of me for listening to that. And like, she's like, nah, I want some hard shit. Like, yo, like
that hard,
yeah, like that's her thing.
edge.
And she's like, you don't understand when it comes to Miss Nthabi, that it's like I have it appeals to a certain part inside of me. There's a piece of me that it connects to, and that. And that is what I think like really made that connection. I was like, no, I can see it 100%.
I think it's so weird. I feel like I connect to different people in different ways. There are people who love the hard rapidy rap cipher side, and there are people who love the more poetic side. There are people who love the more musical side, that, you know, so I feel like in some way you always find a way to touch someone in a way that they can connect to. So I'm thankful in that regard that I've had people who've listened to me since Streets to the Lab, who still fuck with me today and have grown with me without expecting me to keep giving them Streets to the Lab. Just that growth, to be able to grow with your listeners and grow with your supporters, that's massive, man.
I think that I want to give you like super credit on this, because you like hit on a really good point without like hitting on the point. And it's that there's a certain level of credibility, right, that kind of gives a pass to the listeners, right? So because you have this foundation of like, yo, I can choose to do the hard shit, right? Yeah. Someone who may not necessarily normally listen to the emotional stuff kind of gets a pass to do so when you do it, because it's like, nah, this is a hard MC. This is somebody who can actually bar stuff up. And if they're choosing to do the more emotional artistry, poetic stuff, it's almost like, even if I'm like the hardcore, I don't like battle rap type stuff, I now kind of have a pass to listen to this because this artist is so versatile that it almost like opens up that door. And I think that that's super dope that you have that opportunity to do that.
Thank you. And I think just with my ear, I get very tired quickly of hearing the same shit. I want to hear growth. And my musical background, I mean, I started making music when I was 6 years old. And the first ever exposure to music, my first gift as a kid was this little keyboard. So I used to play piano. So I would play the piano and I would then make up my own songs. And at home, they would always play like different kind of genres. You know, they play jazz, they play soul, they play R&B. So my musical background was never just hip hop. Hip hop came at a later stage, and I was like, oh, actually, this is message music on a dope beat. That's what it was for me. You know, it was like message music on a dope beat. It can be, exactly. It can be message music on a dope beat, but it was like, okay, so how do you flip this? How do you grow with it? So it's never been about, I just want to be hard all the time. I constantly want to keep challenging myself. As soon as you get comfortable, I feel like that's when you fail, because you're too comfortable. Then you're not growing. And if you're not growing, then you might as well be dead, right?
Facts. This is dope. All right. I'm loving this so far. That's 100% on point. So Broken Silence 2018, what comes out next? What happens after that?
After Broken Silence, we step away again. And I know I have this habit, and I realized later that it's a habit, but it wasn't even intentional. I drop music and then I go.
So this is a question. Hold on. This is a question. I want to cut you off. This is a question from a reaction. On my reaction, I asked all the GS gang if they have any questions they want. So I actually have one from YouTube, right? From a YouTube comment for you. It says, Nthabi does this thing where she drops a project and disappears.
Oh shit!
It says probably to be a farmer like Thanos after erasing half the universe. She then reemerges like I was playing possum, watching you kids blossom. The question is that by design or poor coincidence?
Oh my God, you said to become a farmer. I'm not a farmer. Please, me and any livestock of sort, please no. Actually, I mean, I wouldn't say it was intentional, but I think it's because I never wanted to be out there for anything but the music. So I put out a project and then I push it as far as I can. And then I feel like, okay, let me vanish. I'm not the kind of artist who's going to be out chatting about my personal life. And so for me, it's like, if I've got nothing to say when it comes to music, what the fuck am I even speaking? Like, let me just shut up and go back. So it's not necessarily intentional, but I feel like it's worked for me. because then it also gives me a moment to step back and move away from whatever it is that I've just dropped and come back in a clearer space, clearer mindset. And when people hear me, it's like they're hearing a whole new me with a different side.
Are you an introvert?
I would call myself an introvert, an extroverted introvert. So, and the reason I say this, right, is because I get social anxiety in large crowds. I can't deal with too many people. But if it's just us and we're chilling, then it's a vibe. If it's a safe space, I can vibe. So I fucks with smaller crowds. I don't do well in large crowds. But once I'm comfortable with you, like I'm all out there. So that's how I'm a extroverted introvert, so to speak.
How does that work? Do you feel like there's some contradictory with being in the public, right?
Yeah.
And celebrity is an option. When you put music out, you never know when something's going to blow up. And all of a sudden you can't go to the grocery store anymore without having to sign somebody's tomatoes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know. And I think this is why I also stepped back, because coming up with the EP and then the album, I was at that point in my career where I was like, you're either gonna take it there, peak over, or you need to calm down. What do you want? And I was like, I don't think I wanna go there. I don't think I'm ready to go there. I still wanna live somewhat of a normal life. You know, I want people to appreciate the music. And if I could make music with no one ever having to see me, I would do it. But it's impossible. You have to promote it. You have to be out there. You have to be relatable, and people need to feel like they're connected to you in some way. You're not just a robot. But if I could actually just make music and put it out and not have people see me, I'd do it. I'd do that. I always wanted it to just be about the music.
Is this your full-time job? Like, do you make your living off of music?
No, and that's the beauty of it. So I work with kids. I'm with an NGO. We work with kids. I do like early learning for kids. And
that's awesome.
It's it's funny because I always used to say, I never want music to be my only thing. I never want music to be the only thing I do, because if it gets to that point, it becomes a job. And then I can't be as selfish with it as I am now. I can't be as picky about who I want to work with, who I want to feature, the kind of albums I want to put out, because now I'm thinking about, I need to eat, I need to pay my bills, I need, you know what I mean? So I would not be able to be as selfish with it as I am now. And I just feel like if I had to just do music on its own, it'd drive me crazy. I wouldn't enjoy it. Every other thing that I do influences the kind of music I make as well. It just opens up your world even more. If you're just locked into music 24/7, it would drive me mad. And if I did that, I'd probably end up learning how to be a producer or learning how to be I'd have to do something else, not just music. I can't do it.
So I know that's like a cardinal sin when doing an interview to like necessarily relate too much, you know what I'm saying, or talk about yourself. But like, what you just said, I resonate with so much. So like, I've never liked making music because I've always felt like making music feels like work to me. I like battling, you know what I mean? Like, I like making people feel bad about themselves. For some reason, that really does it to me. Like, if I can take you down less,
people feel bad about themselves.
I love it. I'm very pro cyberbullying. It comes back to me though. Like, it goes both ways. Like the GS gang, we talk about violence all the time. I got my hair dyed 2 days or 3 days ago or something like that. Shorty was like, yo, let me dye your hair. And I was like, I don't care. Sure, whatever. And like within 24 hours, I get comments like, this is what Guy Fieri would look like if he wanted to be black. So like, but that's like the shit is like, you know, like I love that, and it doesn't feel like,
oh my gosh,
organic. It's fun, you know what I mean? Yeah. I always felt like if I had to sit down and focus on structuring songs and had to, you know what I mean, yada yada yada, that it would feel like work.
And that worries me now. Why do you say you like making people feel bad about themselves? That's a shitty thing to say.
Yeah. No, I'm not a good person, and I never claimed to be. So I'm very self-aware of that. So like I'm aware of it and I acknowledge it and I'm okay with that. So like,
you mean it in a battle context, or just in general, you're just a shitty guy in general?
No. Shitty guy in general. I like making people feel bad in battle context. Like, okay, that's what I enjoy.
That's the platform to do that. Okay.
Right. Like that's what I liked about it. Like I came up off the lunchroom ciphers and stuff like that, where like it was who's best. It's not like, yo, we're here for like camaraderie and, you know what I mean? Like, nah. I like the
sure.
rah-rah shit. You know what I'm saying? And like,
Sure.
that's just, I don't know, it always resonated with me. And I always felt like
That's
rather
it.
than
And it's a, battling is an ego thing. It's not you, it's ego.
100%. Oh yeah, I'm
It's
egotistical
all
as
about
shit.
the ego.
100%.
Exactly.
I'm an arrogant
And
fuck.
that's hip hop, like in general. It's just such a egotistical thing, not a lot of people do it because, yeah, I want to touch lives. I'm so great and I can
Who's
touch
the
lives
goat?
kind of thing.
Who's the
You know what
goat?
I
I
mean?
want to be the goat.
I want to be the goat.
I hate that conversation. I hate that
Everybody want to
word.
be a goat, man.
It's
Everybody want to be a
ridiculous.
goat. Some people were meant to be lambs and let's just chill.
Who thinks they're a goat that should be a lamb? I want names. We're
That's
gonna
a
tag
good
them.
question. That's a tough one. I can't think of somebody. Give me names of people who regard themselves as goat right now.
Every MC that exists.
No,
What?
not everyone. No,
I will give you a
no.
challenge. Name an MC that doesn't think that they're the GOAT.
No, there's so many. Do you know how many humble rappers are out there? Come on.
Not that I've
Come
talked
on.
to. Nah.
Really?
It's not a thing.
They are humble people. I mean, I just think the GOAT title that's heavy. It takes a lot before you can regard yourself as a GOAT, hey?
I agree with you, and I clown them for saying it. Like, I do think that there's this polarizing need for it.
Anybody?
Who's the greatest? Who would you consider to be the greatest in SA?
In SA, for me, I would definitely give it to Zubs.
Zubs? Okay.
I would
So
give it to
then
Zubs.
you would, so then this is where the term then like becomes blown out of
Yeah.
proportion then, because now you have the title greatest of all time, right, to a
Yeah.
person. So now you're basically saying like anybody else that tries to claim that, nah, like you're at like,
Yeah, and why can't, but also why can't there be many greatest of all times? Why must it only be one?
because that's not how English works.
No, why?
Because greatest,
Why?
great, because that is, it's become a category, right? It's become a category, whereas before it was a title. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A title is for an individual. A category is like a tier. You know what I mean? So now
I
there's
hear
like,
you.
there's a tier, but that's
But
not
you
what
see
people
how
say. People don't want people. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead.
but I think where we are now, it's because everybody is just appealing to their own market, which is why I guess they feel like they're goats. But the reason I said Zabs and why I picked him specifically, and I had to think about that, it's not because no, we came up from Rage together, but if I think of his technicality as a writer, and then also look at him as a live performer, and also look at him in terms of how he delivers and his flow, he has it all locked down, in my opinion. It takes a lot to be regarded a GOAT, and the kind of impact that you have. So you can't be, you've just dropped a single and then people love you from that one single and now suddenly you're a GOAT. It doesn't make sense.
Welcome to 2021.
It just doesn't make sense.
I have a lot of regard for Zubs. So I think I was first introduced to him. I did a reaction for Heavy 8. And I was blown away. I was geeking out.
Right.
I was like, let's go.
Right.
Fast forward into my like reaction career, I ended up getting like a super dope relationship with Stogie T. That's like my brother now. Like that's my guy. And Stokes holding this master class where he had people who wanted to learn about the history of hip hop. Mm-hmm. And he invited me as a guest, and the other guest that he had was Zubs. And so I also had the opportunity to hear him speak about hip hop history from like a historian perspective and stuff like that. That's like not just the records, but also hearing the man, you know what I'm saying, talk and be able to recount things and stuff like that. So like, I really like the way that he carried himself. I really like, you know what I'm saying, obviously the music that he puts out is legendary. I'm with you. I like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's super dope that you have that regard for him too, because his name doesn't come up enough, I feel like, nowadays.
No, definitely. And for me, I mean, when I was coming up, that was somebody whose opinion really mattered to me, you know what I mean? Because we were from the same stable, and when Zabs gave you critique, you would be like, okay, shit. I'm taking that to heart, you know? I mean, there'd be times where I'd be so scared to even play him my music because I'm scared of how he's gonna react. Like, please listen to this on your own. Don't listen to it in front of me. And then email me your feedback.
Do you always feel like he's very candid and upfront? Like he doesn't seem like the type to sugarcoat.
No, he will be upfront. But what I like about his approach in being upfront, he's not breaking you. He's not out there trying to be an asshole. He's gonna give you valid pointers, you know. And
Nice.
I tend to shut when people give asshole reactions or just they trying to break you. I shut down completely. I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna take anything you're saying to heart. But if you're giving me constructive criticism, then I take that to heart.
I'm gonna flag you and make sure there's a few reactions you don't watch.
But even then, I mean, it's your opinion, and I'm not gonna hate you for your opinion. You know what I mean? It's just
Definitely.
I'm not gonna make much of it. It's just gonna go in one ear out the other.
Yeah, this guy, get out of here.
Yeah, like okay, moving right along.
All right, so 2018, you disappear, you come back. Is Energy the next thing that came out since then?
Yeah, then Energy came out. And just like Broken Silence was sort of like a surprise drop. I don't really announce when I'm about to drop an album. And the reason I do that is because I don't want pressure if shit goes wrong. Because you sometimes set a date that I'm gonna drop this album on a specific date, and then something goes wrong, and I don't want the pressure of I told people I'm gonna put it out on this date, and then it doesn't come out, and I don't want all of that. I want to be in a clear space. By the time I'm saying this album is dropping, I'm done. It's packaged. Everything is ready.
It's coming.
Exactly.
Are you signed or are you independent?
Independent.
You're independent. Okay.
So Energy is released under God Bless the God Bless, which I'm actually part owner of.
Okay.
So I was just like, I'm gonna put this album out so that we can build the label as well. So there's God Bless the God Bless with the apparel, and then there's God Bless the God Bless Entertainment, which is the music side. And the goal is to really try and get more artists that we fucks with being heard. You know, everybody is gonna give music that they like, but we want to put the kind of music that we want to hear out and the artists that we believe in out. So I released it through God Bless the God Blessed. We started making the album during lockdown, and I had no intention of making a full project. I was just like, it's time to go in studio, let's see what happens. And what's trippy about Energy for me, and everyone always talks about the writing of the album, whereas I actually don't give a damn about the writing of Energy. What means the most to me is the production, because I co-produced my album, and that was a first for me, to be able to sit there on every single song and have an influence and direct, this is the direction I want to go, this is the sound I want, and be part of that creation, sitting through the mixing, the mastering, all the tedious shit that artists normally don't sit through, you know what I mean? I was full on and hands-on with that.
Now, who else was it? Because I know who produced with Energy, and it's my guy. He's so good. Can we please talk about him? Let's go. He is so underrated. My guy is just amazing.
So he produced the bulk of the album, and then we have production from Zion, and then we also have production from CRC. He did the song with Reason, and because with Tapelo, I had said to him, I'm like, this album can't just be us, then it's gonna sound, it's not gonna sound the same. We need to add something else. It needs another flavor. So when I got Zion, I always wanted to work with Zion. I've been dying to work with him. He's amazing. And I said to him, the first beats he sent me, they were very rapidy rap. They were hard. I'm like, please don't give me what you're expecting to hear me on. Give me where you're at right now. Give me the shit you're making right now. And let's create our own little world. And that's exactly what he did. So CRC's beat, he sent us a couple of beats. I heard it, and I think within like an hour, the song was done. And what's funny with that song with Reason actually wasn't supposed to be on that song. I had 3 verses on that song, and I was done. And then P-Dot was like, I actually hear Reason on the song. Like, my verse, I'm not taking out my third verse. Like, I don't want this nigga on my song. We're done. But I could hear it. And then we took out the third verse. We added Reason. He came in, he killed it. And I think he added a different flavor to it. But with or without that feature, I think it still would have been a hot song.
So like
Yeah.
that's one now that we're on energy, there are a few points that I wanted to pick your brain about, and
Yeah.
that is one of them. So reasons come under a lot of fire within the recent months for the transition to on piano
Yeah.
versus hip hop. Me
She's
and
an
my
alkaline.
it's in my stance, right? In my perspective, I I hate that he's getting any kind of shit for this whatsoever.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense to me that
Doesn't make sense.
like I can't put two and two together that people are like, oh, you're turning your back on him. Like
Yeah.
anytime that and a fan or a fan group or a fan base tries to put any artist into a box,
A box, exactly.
I feel like, yo, fuck you, you're not really fan, like shut, like who are y'all? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like it gets upset, but like this is the point that I'm trying to get to. You gotta let me get there. You gotta let me get there. Like I'm trying to like put this together. I don't see a difference between Reason dropping some of the amazing music that he's given us that's been conscious. He's got commercial hits. He's done pretty much all of it, and pivoting to on piano. It doesn't. What's the difference between Broken Silence and Energy? Because it's the same kind of pivot. Like you got the hard stuff. Like if you look at Flip and then you look at Third Eye, like you know what I'm saying? Like why do you think that one person would get shit and one person doesn't when the soundscape, the drastic difference in soundscape is basically the same?
You know what it is, right? And I mean, for me, I've never had an issue with artists doing whatever the fuck they want. What, at the end of the day, who am I to dictate your artistry?
Facts.
We're all put on this world to create and do whatever we need to. And if he wants to branch out and create, that's what he does. He's good. He's a versatile artist. And I think he does it great. Maybe where people have the issue, and this is where the whole purist thing comes in. I think where people maybe have the issue is they feel that you've abandoned us because you've jumped on something that's hot now, right? And it makes no sense, but their thing is, okay, because hip hop is not doing good right now, you've pretty much jumped shit and said, fuck y'all, I'm going on to the next hot thing and I'm only worrying about myself. But truth of the matter is, it's not even about, I don't think he jumped off saying because hip hop's not doing well right now. He just said, shit, this is hot. I sound dope on it. Why not? You know what I mean? It's like, are you gonna get mad at Jay for jumping on the Linkin Park remix? You know what I mean? Are you gonna get mad at somebody featuring a country artist or whatever, or collaborating with a country artist or collaborating with a gospel artist? It's completely up to them how they create and what they want to do. I just feel like sometimes as hip hop listeners and hip hop purists, we think we own people's art, and we don't. You don't own a person's creativity. We don't own people. We experience them. You know what I mean? I keep saying this, we don't own people, we experience them. And when an artist gives you music, you don't own it, you're experiencing it. And if you don't fucks with it, then listen to the shit that you do fuck with from them.
What Button say, like, said motherfuckers will interrupt you while you're at your place of worship and think that comes along with their $20 purchase. Like, come on.
Right.
Now,
so I feel you. I really don't get that.
Here's my problem with the Reason thing, or not with Reason, but with the fan base, right?
Yeah.
Reason is not a pop artist, in my opinion. Reason is a lyricist. Like he's of the vein of people whose writing skills are in a certain category that isn't necessarily like, I'm expecting a pop song after pop song that's going to come out. And
he's an incredible writer.
So why wouldn't you want those elements in other music? Why wouldn't you want on piano to have hip hop influence? Because you know what's going to happen? People are going to be like, who is this artist? Now that there's lyricism in there, what did they do? Oh, now eyes are on hip hop where those eyes may have never been on hip hop previously. And I think people don't look that far into it. You know what I'm saying? They don't see what the influence, how the influence could impact stuff. Not to mention the bag. Like
we're very territorial about art and creativity, which we actually shouldn't be, because you want him to keep putting out Bump the Cheese Up, the same songs. You want him to keep doing the same shit over and over and over again. It gets boring. You're gonna get tired of it, you know? I have absolutely no problem with him. If that's what he wants to do, fuck it, do it. If tomorrow any other artist decides they want to put on a freaking clown suit and rap, yo, do whatever is gonna make you happy and make you comfortable. But I understand even in saying that someone could easily say, yeah, but this is why you get rubbish artists, because everyone raps now. Anyone can just rap. Anyone can pick up a mic and just do it. But at the end of the day, who are you to tell someone what they can and can't do?
Facts. Nah, I'm in. I'm with you. I'm with
You
you. All right, so that was a dope conversation. I appreciate you chopping me up with that one. That was one of those things where I was like, oh, man, like look at the pivot. They're coming to him for this pivot, and I'm listening to her.
Yeah.
Like she looked like she about to bite somebody's head off on this one, and then on this one she's sewing it back on. Like it's like
that's true. And I think when you listen to the different bodies of work that I've created, every time I listen to them, I just see such a different side. It's trippy for me as well, because I listen to it, I'm like, I'm not in that space anymore. I'm not in the space I was when I made the mixtape. I'm not in the space I was when I made Welcome to Me. And to hear that just from delivery, sound, writing, it's all very different. And yes, you're gonna find elements of, you know, something in each of them because it's one artist essentially, but I'm just not in the same space. So when I listen to myself, especially with Energy, so when we were recording Energy, I would never play the song. I wouldn't take the music home with me. We would record, create then and there, and I leave it there. So by the time I actually got to listen to the whole album from beginning to end, I hadn't heard some of the songs outside of the time that we were recording it. And I went crazy. I literally got goosebumps. I was listening to myself like it's not me. I was like, what? When did we do this?
Who is this? This is fire.
Right? I was tripping on my own shit. And I was like, if I can go bananas over my own stuff, then this is what I want. I want to enjoy listening to me before I can expect the next person to enjoy it. So I didn't hear anything. I didn't want to overproduce it. I didn't want to critique myself too much. I was like, this is the vibe I'm in now. I'm never going to get this energy again. This is it. We can't re-record some of these verses because that feeling is gone. That energy is gone. We need to be intentional about this being all about energy.
So how does that affect performances then? Because you said that, you know, you have this idea like, yo, I want to pivot into artistry with festivals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between saying, hey, we can't record this verse again versus still having to deliver those same emotions and stuff like that to a live audience?
It's not the same. Every time you perform a song, it feels different each time because number one, you're performing to a different crowd, and that you're feeding off their energy, they're feeding off yours. So when I perform some of the songs, so we actually have a mini docu / live performance that's gonna come out. No one knows about this now, you know, so you get the
exclusive, baby. Let's go. Only here. This is the thumbnail.
Yeah. So we have a live performance and like a mini docu of the making of Energy that we put together. And even when we were recording that, I felt like, damn, this is a lot. This is different. I had to tap into things I hadn't felt in a very long time, but it was nice things. It was a nice feeling. And every time I listened to it, I just vibe. It's not a heavy album. And I was intentional about not making it heavy.
Not heavy. I think it depends on your mood going into it, right? Because I am at a point in my life, not to make this about me again, but I'm at a point in my life where I had a lot of stuff that's going on. Like there's just like with COVID and family and yada, yada, yada. I have a lot that's going on. My father passed away in June and I'm still sorry. I appreciate that. I'm still dealing with a lot of stuff from that. And I made a comment that your music sounded therapeutic. Like it had this therapy vibe to it. And to me, that's heavy. Like if a song can tap in and soothe a pain that you have or something that you're going through or allow you to release it a little bit while you're getting zoned into it. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, that's heavy. Like that's heavy.
I would disagree. I like that you said it's soothing and you want to release. So the fact that you're releasing and you're not holding on to that, for me, you're dropping the bags. You're gonna feel lighter. You know, I don't think anyone's ever listened to the whole album and walked away feeling like, yo, they walk away feeling lighter. They walk away feeling like you said, it's a therapy of sort. And I wanted that. I wanted you to feel like everything is gonna be fine.
So this is a matter of terminology then. So like by me saying heavy, I mean it doesn't sound like a pop record that's gonna be like, you know what I'm saying, that I'm gonna listen to while I'm at the grocery store. And it's, you know what I'm saying?
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I meant by it. That it's like it's got meaning. Like there's soul, there's meaning to it. Like that's heft to me. That's a song being heavy, is that there's content, there's conscious to it. You know what I mean?
I got you. But yeah, I mean, for me, it was just it was such an effortless album to make. I wasn't
light flex
thinking too much. I promise you, it was such an effortless, and even when we were recording, we'd literally go into studio, chill outside in the garden, you know, like we just do some random shit, play music, vibe out, and then Thapelo would be like, okay, what vibe are you in today? I'm like, I don't know, let's go see what we create. And then we'd have a reference. I remember with the first song, which is called Vibes, we were outside and I was like, I hear birds. I want birds on the first song. I just want birds. I want to feel like I'm waking up in the morning and I'm making, you know, a cup of tea. I want it to be an album that when you listen to it, you can actually feel yourself going through the day. And that's exactly what we did. We played with a lot of weird ass sounds, you know, natural sounds, water sounds. It was really about tapping into the environment, which is why it probably has that therapeutic vibe, as you say, you know.
I put my feet up and just like,
and just chill, right? I was never thinking, yo, the rapper's gonna say, is this hard? I wasn't even thinking about the rappers, to tell you the truth.
There's a beautiful symmetry between the two of you, where I'm learning now between your music, right? And now that we actually get a chance to have a conversation, where you have the ability to make this hard ass shit, right? Where you can go and bump shoulders with the best of them, but that there's now this beautiful music that's being made. And with Thapelo, like he has the ability to go and make stuff like the Ape Tape. You know what I mean? Like he has the ability to go and make super, super hard shit. But he's got this beautiful side to his music too, to where he can pivot and like put something out like Energy. You know what I'm saying? Put something out like his own shit.
Have you heard him singing? I was like,
he got 100 out of 100. Cool 100 out of 100.
You make that get me pregnant music.
Please go watch my reaction. Watch my reaction to his jaw. Like, yo, like I was up there. I was like, let's go. I should call her.
No, I told him, I'm like, yo, dude, I've never heard this side of you. And when he played one of his songs, I was like, who's this? And he said it was him. I'm like, what?
Sir, what?
You know? And I mean, Thapelo's image and his voice, just, it's a complete you can't put the voice and the face together. It's complete, because he's a soft-spoken guy. He's all calm and humble. And then you hear that, you're like, nigga, you putting some woman's feet up right now.
Bro, if I could get screenshots of his Tinder messages, man, I will upgrade my game so much.
I know.
My man is a savage.
Oh my gosh, no, but he's so talented. I was actually with him just before we did this interview. We were
give him my regards next time you talk to him. That's my guy. I got nothing but love for him.
Recording World Peace. She got some fire coming out as well.
Nice. Yeah, please send him my regards. Like that's my guy. Nothing but love for that man. He's super talented. I think he's gonna be in the conversations going forward. You know what I'm saying, as far as like some of the best producers out there and shit like that. Like he's dope.
And just his diversity as well. He can pretty much give you anything.
Facts. All right, what's your favorite song off Energy, personally?
It keeps changing.
Today, right? as of recording.
It keeps changing. So it used to be Dreams.
Okay.
And when Dreams featuring World Peace, and when I made Dreams, it's funny. I actually heard it and I thought, shit, Pro would have been so dope on this song. Rest in peace to Pro, man. Like he played such an important role in my musical journey without even realizing he played that role. So when I heard Dreams, I was like, shit, Pro was supposed to be on this. So funny enough, I played the song for one of my friends, Notende, and the first thing she said, she's like, Pro would have spazzed on the song.
You gotta get Cap on one of them. You gotta get Cap on one of them.
Yo, but Cap, I need to get Cap on something hard. I need to Cap on like so, because I was like, yo, Cap raps. Cap will rap circles around. Like he's a
Facts.
rapper's rapper.
That's my guy, dude. That's my guy.
He
Yo,
is
Cap is
a
a monster.
rapper's rapper.
Plus what he's doing with the other kids. He's got did you hear the Children of the Corn stuff that he put out?
Yes, exactly.
Like, I've been waiting for the follow-up to this stuff. I mean, every now and then I'll hit up Von and I'll be like, yo, you got something for me? Like,
no, that's a purist. Cap is a purist.
Facts.
He's, I mean, I'd love to do it. So, and actually probably would be dope to kind of get him on. It would be interesting to hear him on that energy vibe, because I know he'd still bring it hard.
Just to see what he does.
Trippy, but I need to do some hard shit with Cap. Like, I need to put away the emotional side, the light side. I need to like go in if I'm gonna do a song with Cap.
I agree. I also it's super interesting because like when I'm listening to energy and you have the good vibes, I didn't know that Scorpios had feelings. So it was interesting to see that was like,
really?
Was it really? Fake? Like, did you really? Ask somebody else?
Now
like...
you're taking out your emotional triggers here. Scorpios have feelings. Okay, we're actually very nice people. And the thing is with Scorpios, we have this protective layer because we're really sensitive, actually. We're very, very sensitive. Don't pull that face at me. We are sensitive. You're saying this because you've been scarred. We are sensitive people.
I'm a damaged man.
You're a damaged man. Like, I'm sorry.
It's not one. Like, I have a type. Like, it's like I keep going back. Like, I know what it is.
Are you one of those people who like fixing women?
No. I'm not a fixer.
You're not a fixer.
I'm a breaker.
But they broke you.
Yeah, it didn't work. I didn't say I was good at it. I thought I was doing something. I was in there. I was like, she's gonna be like hard, but like, I'm a savage. Next thing I know, I'm like, yo, why ain't she responding, dog? Like, why? Call me back, dog. Like, what?
Oh my gosh, I know the thing, and people always say that Scorpios are just like sex freaks and they have no emotion. I'm like, no, that's not it.
Yeah. I didn't believe in God until like a full night with my ex, and then I met him and I was like, oh, it's real. This is real. Just instantly, overnight. I was like, I found him. I found him.
With you.
Right there.
We need to heal this trauma. I need to burn some incense for you or some shit. Burn some sage. Like, damn.
It's been a rough life.
Damn. No, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. I think also just check. You need to check what are you projecting to make you feel that way. Like, what is it about?
Just like a Scorpio, it's always my fault. This is very familiar. This is very familiar. Yeah, this is on brand.
I'm saying introspect. You can't be blaming the next person.
See, look, she cheats on me with like 3 dudes and does this, that, and the third. And notice like, what did you do to make her cheat?
Oh shit, they cheated on you. My bad. Okay, that's stone cold. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. I was cheating too. It was.
So y'all were cheating on each other. Y'all in a toxic ass relationship.
Yes, toxic king, baby. Let's go. That's me.
Oh my god, I can't deal with toxic. I just no. I think I've had enough of toxic in my life. Now I'm just like, give me good vibes. I don't want no struggle life. Give me the soft life. I want to be happy. I just want to be
happy.
I'm addicted to shit. Nah, I don't want to be a strong black woman anymore. My strength is not gonna come from pain. My strength is gonna come from how much I am happy, not because I survived some bullshit. No.
That's wild. As a Scorpio, so that's impossible. But I appreciate the effort. Like that's
wow.
That's good. Like it's good to dream. You know what I'm saying? It's good to dream.
Oh my god! I promise you, we are not all bad.
Okay. My favorite song off your album, off of Energy, was Trippy. So
really,
absolutely, and
for real,
I am a huge Yugen Black Rock fan. And when I was listening to Trippy, it put me in that Yugen bag, and I was like, I heard her on it, and I heard the two of yous, and I was like, yo, this is like my shit. It went right on the playlist, like instantly onto that playlist, and I probably brought that one back. When I was listening, I like to listen to albums full whenever I do. You know, I mean, if I'm going to go and do it, I want to listen front to back, because that's generally how the artist put the album together. If it's not a playlist, you know what I mean? Like there's a difference between a body of work and a collection of songs. So I listened for it, and that was one of the ones where I couldn't just listen once and then go past. I had to bring it back a few times and like vibe out with it.
Funny enough, it was my favorite song when we were recording. It was one of the first songs we recorded, and we didn't have anybody on the hook. And then Rachel came and she took it where I never even thought the song was gonna go. Her voice, it just has this airy thing about it. It just, I can't explain how that woman sings, man, but when she sings, I'm in another world. So
Facts.
Trippy was my favorite one when we were recording. And it literally took about 30 minutes to record that song. Because
Really?
it took 30 minutes to record that song.
Wow.
It came, and there were so many ARB sounds. There were many ARB alien sounds. Like, what the hell is going on with this beat? It was very trippy. It was trippy. And, you know, I mean, even how we wrote it, the idea to have every song acronym. So every song on the album is an acronym. It was because of how we wrote Trippy. So Trippy stands for Trauma's Real, Inner Peace Protects You. And we didn't know that.
Is this public knowledge?
That most people, I mean, people who've seen the front and the back and front cover of the album know that, but most people don't realize that every single song on the album is acronym, all of them.
Can I bother you to go through them with me?
Yeah, sure. So we have Vibes, which is the first song, which is Visualize I being everything sacred, right?
Okay.
And then after, I need to even remember the order of my own damn song. After Vibes, what comes after Vibes?
Well, the first one is Soul. First one, right? Like
that was Soul. So it's Spirit of Unconditional Love. Then it's Vibes. Look at me, not even knowing my own damn songs. My own
after Vibes is Energy.
And then it's Energy, which is every natural entity requires God's yielding.
All right. Then we got Flow.
We have Flow, freely letting out words.
Trippy.
And then we have Trippy, Trauma's Real, Inner Peace Protects You.
Diamonds.
And then we have Diamonds, Do Right Even Amongst Misleading Skeptics. No, Diamonds, don't internalize any madness or nourish dead speech. That's Diamonds.
Let's go. Okay, Sides.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second, that doesn't match up.
I know, that was the one I gave you was Dreams. The one I gave you was Dreams. Sides, what was Sides again? Sides, you see, all these acronyms make me go crazy. Something Inside designs everything seen. That's Sides. I'm actually going to send you the back cover so that you could put this up while we're going through it. So I'll send that to you. Yeah, I'm going to send it to you.
Is there any way for the listener to know any of this without this interview? Like, is this information anywhere?
Yeah, when I put out that the album's dropping, I put the front and the back. Some people picked it up, some people completely missed it.
No. I mean, like, what the acronym stands for. Like, is that on the back of the album?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. See, I thought I was getting some exclusives. I thought this was
It's on there.
See, this is the digital world. It ruins stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Going on Amazon Music, you don't get that.
It's on there. Then we had Signs, and what was after Sides? I said Dreams already, right?
Right. So Dream, yeah. After Sides is Gone.
And then Getting Over Negative Energy.
And then Dreams, and then Third Eye.
Dreams, that's Do Right Even. And then Third Eye is the only one that doesn't have an acronym.
All right, so that's a slight to reason. Okay.
Exactly. And with Third Eye, how I was looking at it, I was looking at it as Third Eye, as in three me's, as in past, present, future.
Okay. All right.
So
and
yeah.
Him,
Heaven and Me.
All right. I thought that was going to be some toxic Scorpio stuff. All right.
No, it's Heaven and Me. No.
Sure.
No, man. Heaven and Me.
Free.
And then Freedom Requires Embracing Elevation. And then we have Love, Living Off Valued Energy.
That's awesome. I'm so glad you got that. That'd have been terrible if I asked you to do that and you didn't know any of the acronyms.
I know. I was like, shit, what's the order of the songs again? So yeah, those are all the acronyms. And it was crazy because I don't know why I did that. It was a dumb ass move on my part, but a smart one at the same time. It was dumb when we decided it because I was like, how the fuck am I going to come up with all these acronyms? I don't know what's going to happen. And it needs to actually match the song. You can't just pick random-ish.
Right.
But
I do have a question about like the search engine optimization of that, because you have it with the periods in between each of the letters because it's an acronym.
Yeah.
Do you have any research data? Did you guys look into that, like how that's going to affect you showing up in the search engine optimization when people are looking you up? Because it is a lot harder to search for it when there's it's that, you know what I'm saying? Like there's it's that broken up.
Yeah, I know, which was why, like, I think when we were loading it, there was a bit of a struggle in terms, do we put it in, do we not put it in? And I was like, okay, just put it in, because we're most likely going to search for the artist, and when you search the artist, that it's going to pop up. But like I said, because of how I work and how I create, I'm not going to be moved away from my vision and what I have in mind because of the repercussions, or people aren't going to find you, or it will get to them.
Search engine be damned then. I got
exactly.
you.
The music will get to who it needs to get to. I mean, you didn't know that there were acronyms, and now you do. And how many other people are going to know after watching this, you know? So it will get out eventually.
Millions.
I just
millions are going to watch this interview. You're going to be an international superstar because of this.
The goat.
The goat. I need to get a clip so that I can put out. I just need you to go on a rant about why you're the greatest of all time right now, and I'm only going to use that clip to promote this.
Oh my! I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that. Forget it. Watch me mute you right now.
While we're on the trippy subject, though, what has to happen to get a you and Yugen collab? Is there anything that could possibly, is that in the works?
Oh man, just yo, we can do it. Let's do it. I mean, she's constantly traveling, but we can always do shit. We've been saying we're gonna work together. We just haven't found the time. But I'm so down. Like, if she had to say, let's do something now, I would do it. When the time comes, it's gonna happen. I'm all for collaborating with dope ass artists. And I think what was nice with the album is I featured artists that I've never worked with before, with the exception of Reason and P-Dot. And Reason I hadn't worked with in a very long time. And P-Dot I only featured on his album. We hadn't actually done anything else together, but I was intentional about that. I wanted to work with people I've never worked with before to get out of that comfort zone. So if she wants to make music, I am down. I'm always open to collaborate with people who are going to take me out of my box, take me out of that comfort zone.
I can hear it. I can hear the collaboration between the two of you on the same track right now.
It's gonna be dope. And what kind of vibe are you hearing? Are you hearing more on her vibe, or what are you hearing?
I hear, so like when I was listening to Trippy, it took me right to like one of my favorite songs by her. She has a live performance of, I always say it wrong, but it's like Melodic Mushroom. Are you familiar?
Melodic Mushroom.
Yeah, it's her song. It's one of her songs.
Okay.
And it's very trippy. It's a very trippy vibe. I did a live reaction to it, and I'm a very talkative person. I've tried not to like cut people off even while interviewing and stuff like that. I love the sound of my own voice, very egotistical. While I'm watching her thing, I think like 20 minutes passed by without me being able to say a word. I was just like super like zoned in and just like
you zoned out.
Everything about the way that she just delivered it, the performance, the live band, like the way that she.
You know what I love about her delivery? She's got this tone that she's not trying. It just comes. You know what I mean? Like she's not trying. She's got a way where she understands her voice, she understands her tone. And that takes a very special artist. A lot of artists know how to rap, they know how to flow, but they don't understand their tone. And your tone can change a song completely.
Entirely,
but
absolutely.
She always makes, I don't know what it is, but she always gets the tone right. It's a very mellow, chilled, but hard.
It's still hard, yeah. Like it's still hard, right? Like yeah,
it's still hard.
I see y'all making one like Trippy, you know, like one of those type of songs where it's like it's more like you get lost in the sauce. You know what I mean? Like you're talking about. There's so many different elements. There's so many alien sounds, alien elements that come into it. But like the two of you have these voices that are just so beautifully in tune with it that it like again it gives that therapeutic kind of vibe. There have been songs where I'll sit there and I'll zone out listening to Yugen's. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck she said, but it was beautiful.
But it sounds nice and it makes me feel good.
Yeah, I was just like, those words were supposed to be in that order. That's all I know.
I'm so proud of her, man. Like, and it's crazy how most people weren't aware of her till much later on. And I'm like, she been around. I'm just so proud of how she's managed to stay in her lane. I'm proud of all the international moves she's got. She's constantly touring overseas.
I think she's,
you know what I mean?
she's crushing it in Paris right now. I think she's been in
Yeah,
France for a
you know,
while.
she's in Paris. She's been working, and just that level of grind and constantly pushing, it's something to just marvel at. And I'm like, yo, big
And
up
she's
to
super
you,
dope.
man.
I did an interview with her. Like, her and I have an interview as well.
Yeah.
And it's just, she's like the best human.
She's a beautiful human
She's
being.
amazing.
She's just got a beautiful heart, beautiful aura. She's one of those people who stays rooting for others. Like, she
Absolutely.
will always be rooting for you. If you do shit, she's just there. She's pushing you. She's a beautiful human being. We don't have a lot of beautiful human beings in the industry. So when you meet a real one, you appreciate them and you hold on to them. We have
shout out to Young Black Rock. Let's go.
Right. Shout out to Black Rock. I love her. I love her. I love her.
All right. So last question as far as like the specific songs.
Yeah.
I need to know this. Are you a Joe Budden fan?
I used to be.
Okay.
I used to be.
So
why? Because of the emotional, why? Because of the
so you have a song,
and
your song Sides. So your song Sides. There's a very evident influence of
really
Joe Budden has a song called Tell Him Something. Where it's very toxic.
Yeah.
Tell him something. So your cadence and delivery of that are almost identical to Budden's Tell Them Something. Listen to those songs back to back and tell me I'm not tripping. And it almost gives like a female version of it. Right now, the content isn't necessarily the same, but it's the delivery, it's the tone, the pitch, and everything like that. And I started geeking when I heard it because like Budden is my goat. I would have like that. Like that's I think he's the greatest lyricist of all time. I would have killed myself in my early 20s. This is a true story. If it wasn't for his,
and why I say I used to be, and this is my downfall and something I need to constantly check. When I like an artist, I kind of look at them as a person as well. So when you give off assholey vibes as a person, it throws me off. I'm just like, oh, why? You know what I mean? It's like never meet your favorite artist. They always say never meet your favorite artist because you're bound to be disappointed, right? So lyrically, I cannot fault him, but just from, I don't know the nigga personally, but just from what I see and what he gives off, I'm just like,
he's a very flawed human.
Really?
Very flawed human.
It gives me very knock vibes. And I was like, ooh, flag, red flag.
I wouldn't get into a relationship with him, but I do appreciate his music.
Yeah, you see what I mean? And that's my thing. Like, I even struggle when it comes to collaborations. If I can't fucks with you as a person, I'm probably not going to be able to make music with you. That's how much I feel like music is an extension of me and how personal it is. If we're going to be in that space of creating, I at least need to like you as a human being.
Right. So this is something I struggled with. This is a new thing that I had, right? Where I was never on Twitter prior to making the channel and being a brand and blah, blah, blah. So when I'm on Twitter, I'm now interacting with artists on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. And I came across an artist who I would put like my top artists, right? Like someone that I really, really liked. And he ended up having a lot of public opinions that I don't agree with, that I fundamentally don't agree with. And I don't like the way that he depicts certain women. I don't like the way that he talked down on OnlyFans and sex workers. I'm a huge supporter of people just doing whatever they want and not being judged. And
I'm the
like,
same.
That's how I am. And it got to this point where I had to come up with this conversation where it's like, do we separate the art from the artist?
From the artist.
And I haven't been able to come up with an answer.
It depends on what kind of artist you are, right? Because you have artists who are pure artists and creators, and it's an extension of them. And then you have entertainers, people who just do it because they're good at it and they're entertaining you. And they're people who will tell you that the artist is very separate from the person. But for me personally, it's a different thing because my music is an extension of who I am, which is why I don't have an alias. I don't have am I boring you?
I said, excuse me, I just broke a little bit. We'll cut that out. Don't worry about it. We'll cut that out.
I'm like, that's why I don't have an alias. It's like, this is me. But it really depends on the kind of artist you are. But I guess in your industry and for what you do, it's kind of different, because are you gonna pick and say, I'm not gonna react to your music because I don't like you as a person? Whereas with me, we're creating, and once you make a song, that song is out. It's you can't take it back. It's gonna be out there for life. And am I willing to have a lifelong bond with you based on the fact that I don't like you as a person? It doesn't make sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That explanation, that does make a lot of sense. I haven't reconciled how I feel about it yet.
Have you spoken to him about it?
No.
Or you don't feel it's your place to?
It's a big artist. It's not someone that I interact with.
It's not like you know them on that
right.
level.
Okay. It's Montana 300 is who it is. And he went on a large rant. I don't know if you know who that is or not, but he's an artist that I enjoy. And I don't know, it really it was the first time I experienced that, because I'm not on Twitter. I don't see this stuff. All I knew was the music up until I decided to dig into it and start like I'm not a stan. I don't know anything about these people's personal lives or opinions or nothing like that. If I like the music, I like the music. If I don't, I don't. You know what I mean?
I like that though.
But like, I don't know.
like that you keep it that way. But I think Twitter's wild, man. And I think it's also part of the reason why I've been off social media for long. I think I started tweeting again and being on social media just around the time I dropped the album. And it's because it just got too much for me. I couldn't handle it. I just felt like everyone has an opinion about something. And sometimes it's not even a valid opinion. It's just people running their mouths. It's just keyboard warriors. And it's like, guys, do you understand that whatever you put out there could make or break a person? And people are just throwing unnecessary comments, and some are just being mean. People,
you don't gotta tell me, love.
Imagine
being a white American covering hip hop in Africa. How do you think my comment section looked like?
It gets so cruel, and you ask yourself, who raised you? Like, how do you speak to people like this? How do you speak about anybody like this? How is this okay? Because you're getting a couple of likes and memes and laughs, and is that what it's about? We're gonna ridicule people to make ourselves feel better? Nah, I don't fuss with that. It's a lot, you know. So, there's banter and there's playing, and then there's just being a horrible human being.
That leaves us with a very, very staggering question to ask you now. Are you disappearing again anytime soon? now that energy is out, now that you're back.
Am I disappearing again? I'm not gonna disappear. we're gonna be pushing energy for a while. I'm not gonna disappear. And I wouldn't call it disappearing. I'm just not as out there unless I'm talking about music. So there's so many other things that we want to do, man. I've been writing a damn book I need to finish. I've been writing.
Is it like an autobiography or what is it?
No. So there are two books we're writing, and I actually should not be giving away too much, but yeah, it's not an autobiography.
What would you say it is? You know, more like,
it's more think of it as energy in writing.
Is it like a poetry compilation?
There's a poetry compilation, but then there's also, it's very interactive as well. So there's a chance for you, the reader, to interact with it. So
exclusives, baby, right here. We got it all right now. I know you're
probably thinking like, what the hell is she talking about? And I'm trying not to give away too much.
This is my job. My job is to get it out.
You know I know. And I'm trying not to give. But next thing somebody jacks my idea and runs with it.
You're right. We'll wait till it's done.
Yeah, but I mean, I need to focus on that, and because I do so many other things, you know, I try, when I give myself into an album, I give it all, and then I push it, and then I want to give myself into the next thing that I'm working on. Because yeah, man, this artistry shit is a lot. It takes a lot from you. It takes a lot, and it can be draining, but we love it, right?
Absolutely. This is cool too, because I've learned a lot about you during this interview, and I appreciate you opening up, and I appreciate you, you know, being forthcoming with everything. I think this has been a dope interview. I'm very biased. But
I loved it. It was so chilled. I know, right? It's so chilled. I even forgot that you're recording.
That's how know it's a dope interview, damn it.
I forgot you were like, damn, actually, I thought it's just us having a random catch up. No, that's dope. I like these kind of interviews. This is my vibe.
What you have there's two roles that I've seen. I guess I'm gonna put this as more of like a proposal versus like a question, I guess. But
Okay.
your place in SA hip hop, right, kind of puts you as like one of the OGs, right? It puts you as somebody who, like you said, you look at like Gigi Lamaine as like a little sister type thing, like
Yeah.
people who are big now and stuff like that. And then I look at what you do in your real life, and you're working with kids, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you obviously care about the youth. You're a mother who took time off, you know what I'm saying? It was changed by the beauty of motherhood and everything like that. Is there any intention that you have of maybe like I told you, like I just reacted to that 19-year-old girl in Cape Town. Do you have any interest in collaborating or mentoring any of the younger generations with your role right now in the future?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. And mentorship is something that I've been doing ever since I started earlier. So we used to have these this campaign that we ran with the British Council. It was called Power in the Voice. And they got rappers, they got poets, and they got storytellers. And we would literally go into schools to help kids write better. And how do you want to write? How is it that you want to express? How do you use words, and how do you use art to pretty much make yourself feel better, and also just develop in that sphere if you want to go into writing. So when it comes to mentorship and working with young artists, it's always been something that I'm passionate about, like workshops and all that shit. For me, that is what I love. That's what I thrive off of, because
awesome.
To see somebody who not only looks up to you just because you're an artist and they see on the net, they see on TV, but somebody who looks at you like, damn, I appreciate how you write, you know. And I grew up and I listened to Lauryn Hill, and she's a huge influence of mine in terms of writing, you know. And
Gotcha.
I want to be able to have somebody look at me like, shit, that person appealed to me and has affected how I write today. So it's not always about, you know, I'm very driven on content. It's not shake your ass, shake your titties, my man could do this, I could do that. It's like, give me music that is gonna leave a message that I can listen to 5-10 years from now, and it still slaps the same way I heard it the first time.
Do you listen to that type of music?
I do.
You consume it? Do you enjoy it?
I do. But the thing is with me, I'm also I've got an open ear. I don't just, this is what I like and I'm only going to stick to this and I'm not going to listen to anything else. Like, I've got a very wide range.
There's a great symmetry here. So when I was getting to know PQ, right?
Yeah.
One of the big things about her is that she has this image that is very professional. She is the front face of media in hip hop that most of the artists also go with too, right?
Yeah.
But when you talk to her, she's like, I don't want people to think that I can't go shake my ass and twerk if I want to do it. Like that, I can have the personal fun side can be there along with that. And exactly. Do you see yourself? So here's the question, right? Being a side, especially now that you're relating to that, is there any chance of us getting any ass-shaking music out of you? Is that part of your creative side at all? Do you see yourself ever making that type of music?
I think maybe people can shake their ass to my music, but I'm not making it with the intention that I'm making ass-shaking music. You know what I mean?
I mean, like some raunchy shit. Like, could you drop like a Meg Thee Stallion type album? Is that in you?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. I can't hear it right now, but never say never. I don't know, but it's not my raunch is the sides kind of vibe. You know what I mean? My raunch is the step up kind of vibe. My raunch is more sensual but still beautiful, not like ass in your face kind of thing.
So we're gonna be having the pillows going to be on a few collabs then.
Exactly. You know that white rose shit. That's the kind of like that's the more smooth R&B, nice feel, not like.
Sorry guys, I tried. I put it out there. I tried.
You know, that's not me, you know, and I mean, we all have our ladies' nights, and you're gonna do that with your girls, and you're gonna be ratchet, and you're gonna have fun. I mean, I'm not hating on it, but in terms of the kind of music I make, I don't think so. It would be so detached from self. I'd be like, what the hell are you doing? I can't see it. I can't see it.
All right, I had to ask.
No,
Is,
I know.
is there anything that you want to talk about or that you wanted to put out there? Any questions that you had for me or anything like that before we wrap up with
Oh,
you?
damn. Not really. I was just wondering what you thought about the album, and I mean, I guess you've shared your opinion. But now that we've had this conversation, what did you go into this interview thinking? What was your preconception about me, and what did you come out with?
Before or after I found out you were a Scorpio?
Okay,
These
what
were
is
some
your
vastly different opinions I had.
Okay, with the Scorpio and without.
All right, so before I hit up PQ and started doing some research, I did. I listened to it. I was like, oh, who's this Chakra Hun? Okay, let's find out what's going on.
Who's this Chakra Hun?
I was like, what's going on?
You're not the first one to say.
Nah, I got hit up. Huge shout out to Tello and to Mr. Huma. Those are GS gang members on Twitter who first tagged me in your music. As soon as it dropped, before I seen P Dot promote you, before I seen Reason promote you or nothing like that, my squad came through and they tweeted at me.
That's
and they were like,
up.
yo, you got to get on. Yeah, can you give them a shout out, please?
Like strong God bless the God bless supporters, man. That's God bless the God bless fam. And
absolutely,
it's much love.
That they from the moment I started with the SA hip hop, they were all over it. So when they tell me that somebody's hot and that somebody's important, they know that I care about the history of hip hop. They know that I care about the roots, that I care about educating myself on who it is that I'm talking to. And it's not just do a reaction. Oh, I liked it. I didn't like it. Move on and never learn about who it is. You know what I'm saying? So you already kind of got the nod from people whose opinions that I trust. Like I consider them to be like part of the quality team without them even realizing. You know what I'm saying? Certain people's opinions, if they watch the content and they learn my taste in music and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Then they become people who I lean on as a crutch, because what you see me like building, I don't know which direction to go in when I'm entering into a new scene, you know? So my knee-jerk reaction was super excited. Like there's a new face, there's a new name that I hadn't heard before that I get to go and I get to discover, and I become a nerd, and I just I want to just jump in. I want to learn everything that there is to know about it. You know what I mean? After talking with Stowe's the first person I hit up. He's usually like my go-to whenever there's like somebody who for like, you know, like, that's not new. You know what I'm saying? That I was like, I want to go and get like the history on. So he gave me kind of the background, and in his words, you know what I'm saying, that when you first came on the scene, you definitely had that whole having to chip on the shoulder type thing, where it's like, yo, you know what I'm saying, like, stop calling me a female rapper, like I'm just out here trying to prove that I can do it, rah, rah. And like I instantly was like, all right, cool, now I have a grounds for like, that's not what this music I heard sounds like, so now we have a grounds for growth, right? So I wanted to know, like, was this growth naturally occurring? Was it marketed? You know what I'm saying? Like, was this manufactured or was it natural? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was super geeked out just to learn about you when I first had, because you got a lot of heavy cosigns. Like I don't see P promoting and collaborating with Scrubs. You know what I mean? Like even if you didn't have the history, like the people who are promoting you have a good ear for music. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, so automatically I was in. After talking to you now, just my bestie. Let's go. Like I think this was fun. I had a great time.
You Scorpio bestie.
Yeah.
Let's not have a love-hate relationship, please. No toxic vibes here.
I'll work on it.
Let's not go there. But I appreciate it, and it's so crazy. It kind of shows you the power of cosigns, even though I'm not really big on that. I try and form my own opinion about people outside of what others say. But yeah, it kind of shows you where we're at musically as well, because for you as somebody who's not within the South African hip hop market to wants to refer or go back to certain artists to say, hey, tell me what you think about this person. You know, I get it, but I would have loved for you to form your own opinion without
I got you.
them influencing it.
The thing with me is I get probably 20 to 50 requests to listen to new artists every single day. So I don't have the luxury of giving every single person the individual attention that they deserve, which is why I do rely on a team to point me in a proper direction. You know what I'm saying? I get what you're saying. Like on a human basis, like in my personal life, I agree with you. Like I don't like take anybody else's opinion on a person if they've never done wrong to me, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll make my own opinions. When it comes to the platform that I have, I rely on these cats a lot. Like it's what allows me to move at the pace that I've moved at, and it's what allowed me to filter out a lot of the nonsense.
A lot of the nonsense, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I guess that's also some form of credibility, right? You need to know you're not going to be wasting your time reviewing something and you're like, okay, this wasn't worth it. So I get it. I get it.
Cool. Hopefully that answers your question. I appreciate you. Thank you.
I appreciate this. Thank you so much. Damn, we did nearly 2 hours.
Was
I didn't even realize.
I don't. It doesn't tell me. I think until I stop recording on this.
Well, we started at like 8 p.m. for me. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon with you, right?
Yeah. It's like 2:40 now. 2:40 now.
About
an hour. About an hour 40.
Yes.
All right,
that's
guys.
Crazy.
Please go and stream Energy. Super dope album. You guys are gonna enjoy it. Let me know down in the comments what is your favorite off of the album, so I know that you guys actually listen to it. Look out for her. Make sure you follow her on social media. Make it very difficult for her to disappear again, so that you guys are always in contact with her and we don't lose her. And tag anybody that you heard mentioned in this. Let them know that there's a lot of love being shown. And hopefully we can get that Yugen collab, things like that come out in the future.
Absolutely.
Any shout outs you want to give before we get out of here?
Oh man, just much love to you, much love to your platform, much love to all your subscribers, your listeners, much love to, everybody who's been rocking with me. It's all love. It's God bless all the way. Thank you so much. Hey, thank you for this platform. I really appreciate it. It was dope.
It was absolutely my pleasure. As always, guys, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Let's go.
Bye.